you? I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good week, and yeah, super excited to join you as we think a little bit about finding God in this week. And the way we do that at Diamonds is we try and get comfortable, we find this quiet space, a corner somewhere, and grab a cup of tea and yeah, pick up a Bible. Maybe you want a pen, a journal. If you're anything like me, I write things down to try and keep track of my thoughts. And yeah, we want to encourage you to come and join us every week on our channel to read the Bible and be inspired and challenged as we live our lives out following God. So go grab your cup of tea, get comfortable, and we'll get stuck in. Okay, so this week we're thinking about how do we reach out and be kind? How do we love other people? I don't know if you've clocked this, but Sunday it's Valentine's Day. Yep, I know, another one. And yeah, maybe it looks different for you. You can't go on the dates you maybe want to. Maybe you don't have a date to go on, and if that is the case, don't worry, you're not on your own. But I wanted us to think a little bit about the fact that actually the Bible has so much to say to us about love. We've just done a relationship series on our podcast called Created For, and I hope you've checked it out. If you haven't, please go and do that. We talked lots about romantic relationships, we talked about sex, we talked about pornography, masturbation, we talked about our emotions, we talked about the difficulties in relationships, and also how we can find healing when things are difficult. All that to say is, particularly around Valentine's Day, sometimes we start to think about this more. And so I wanted us to think about this week. Instead of waiting for the card to go through your letterbox, instead of waiting for the chocolates to arrive, and maybe they will, and if they do, please enjoy one from me. But if they don't, does that mean that we're not worthy? Does that mean that we're not lovable? And of course the answer is no. We are all lovable, we're all worthy, we're all important. And so I want us to dig into the Bible today and hear a little bit about what it looks like for us to reach out, to be kind, and to love each other. So get comfy, grab a cup of tea, get yourself sorted, and we'll get wired in. Okay, so today we're having a look at the part of the Bible called Isaiah. Isaiah was a prophet, which basically means that he was a guy who was super connected to God, really knew what God wanted for his people, and I guess he acted as a mouthpiece for God's people. So God's people knew what God wanted to say to them. And he wrote down some amazing words from God to us, to God's people, which include you and me. So we're going to read them today. So if you've got a Bible, go grab it. I'm going to use my phone today and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm reading from the Message translation, Isaiah 58, and I'm reading verses 6 to 9. It says this: "What I'm interested in seeing you do is," i.e. you and me, this is what God says to us, "sharing your food with the hungry, inviting the homeless poor into your homes, putting clothes on the shivering ill-clad, being available to your own families. Do this and the lights will turn on and your lives will turn around at once." Okay, so what's this got to do with love? Well, when we open the Bible and we read about what God has to say to us, it's actually the biggest love story you could ever read. It's about God loving us so much that he sent his son to die for us on the cross so that we would know what it means to have a relationship with love with God. Jesus died on the cross so that all the mess in my life, all the mess in your life could be sorted once and for all. That's why Jesus came. But Jesus also acted in a certain way. He loved people. We don't have stories in the Bible about Jesus' job. We have stories in the Bible about how Jesus treated people, how Jesus loved people, how Jesus loved God. It's a bit like a template for us to look to as to what it really means to follow Jesus, to follow God with our whole lives. Jesus loved people that other people didn't want to love. Jesus cared for people that other people didn't want to care for. He made time for them. He gave them his attention, his care, his words. And as a result, he didn't just change their lives, he changed their families, he changed their communities, ultimately it changed the world. So actually the Bible is this amazing love letter of love to us. Particularly right now, when we think about what does love really mean, we can get caught up in roses and chocolates, and they're really nice, but actually when we don't get roses, when we don't get chocolates, does that mean that we're not lovable? And of course the answer is no. So I want to share some thoughts a little bit on this passage for us about how we can maybe reach out, be kind, and love others, particularly this week. So I wonder in your life, what makes the difference between you having a good day and a bad day? What makes the difference in my life is if somebody makes an effort, gives me their time, maybe they FaceTime me, give me a call, maybe they just drop me a message saying, "Hey, I know you had a hard time yesterday, how are you getting on today?" Somebody who takes time out to think about how I am. Maybe somebody who maybe makes me a card or sends me a small gift or just does something nice that they know I like. It changes my day. Things that don't change my day are often big, grand things. It's the small things, things that we could easily not have done, but somebody chose to do it. This is the kind of thing that this passage we're thinking about today is talking about. Jesus loved us. His love changed people's lives, and it changed my life, and it changes ours. We are called to love others, and that has to look like something. This passage has, I guess, 4 things that help us look at what that might look like in our lives right now. The first thing is it says share your food with the hungry. Now, the Bible's got a lot to say about us looking after people who maybe are poor, people who maybe can't feed themselves, but I think there's also a deeper level here. What does it look like for us to meet the needs of those around us? People who aren't maybe just physically hungry, people who are maybe hungry for other things, company, people who are lonely, people who are needing a friend right now, people who are maybe on their own, maybe people who are struggling with their mental health. How could we help them? How could we meet their needs? Food isn't just physical food. Food could be company, it could be friendship, it could be praying for somebody. The second thing is this. It talks about us making space for people. And that's something that Jesus did. He took time to hang out with his friends. He took time to spend with people. He always seemed to have time, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't because he wasn't busy. So maybe this week we can think about somebody we could spend time with, somebody we could just give some time to make a difference to them, just to give them something. The next thing this talks about is sharing what we have. It talks about clothing the ill-clad. I don't think that's just about clothing people who don't have clothes. I think it's about meeting someone's needs and be willing to share what we have with other people. Now, if we believe God created the whole world, and He created me and He created you, it means actually everything that we have belongs to God. So actually, I'm called, as I love others, to share what I have with them. What do you have right now that you could share with somebody? Somebody who maybe would really appreciate it. Maybe it is clothes. Maybe it's something else. But what do you have right now in your home that you could share with somebody? Maybe pop it in the post to them as a surprise. And the last thing is this. Give your time. Our time is our most precious thing. I know that I feel loved the most when someone spends quality time with me, takes time out and shows me that they care. We can do that as well. So this week, give some time to somebody. Phone them up, FaceTime them, Zoom them, go for a walk somewhere, socially distance of course. But give your time to somebody. This is what this passage is talking about. And then it gives us a promise that we can hold on to. It says this, then your light will shine. Do you know that we are lights in a dark world, and we're created to shine? We're created to shine, to point to something more, to point to the love of God, and we're also created to shine to give people hope. So as you think about doing these things, you are creating a culture of hope where you will inspire people to know there is more to life than we see, there's more to life than lockdown, there's more to life than homeschooling. And just think you could be a light in someone else's life this week. I want to end with something else. This week we're thinking about an amazing person called Jackie Pullinger. I don't know if you've heard of her before. Anyway, she was this awesome person who has done amazing things in her life, and she basically just tried to love people well. She did these 4 things because she saw there was a group of people in the walled city that she wanted to love, and these were people that other people didn't want to love. These were drug addicts. They were people who had, you know, huge life controlling issues, and she gave her whole life to love these people. She shared what she had, she gave them her time, she made space for them, and she fed them, and she clothed them. And do you know what happened? Her light shone in a very dark place, and she changed the lives of people as a result. God working through her changed not just her life, but the people she spoke to and their families and their communities. Do you know, you're no different than Jackie Pullinger. You maybe aren't called to go to the walled city to work with drug addicts, but you've got friends, you've got people around you who today would have such a difference in their lives if they heard from you, if you made space for them and shared what you had. So, this is the challenge. I want to know how you guys get on. If you think of anything, if you get up to anything, please let us know. We'd love to know about it, okay? Until next time, we hope you have a great week. So, I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to pray that God would speak to you as you think about putting some of these things into practice this week. And we can keep each other accountable. You can let us know how you got on, and you can let us know what you got up to and what happened, okay? God, I thank you so much for every single person who's going to watch this video, and I pray that you would challenge and inspire them to think about how we together can put these things into practice. Help us, God, to love others well, particularly this week, to reach out and be kind. Help us to know what it looks like to meet other people's needs. Help us to know what it looks like to create space and time for them. And God, I pray that you'd help us to love others well. We pray these things in your name. Amen. Guys, we hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please like it, please share it, and we'll see you next week. And until then, have a good week. Take care and bye for now.